The night falls gently across the ancient world. Shadows stretch long, flickering in the warm glow of a solitary fire. The air is thick with the earthy scent of burning herbs and smoldering incense. Somewhere, the soft clatter of pottery echoes through stone corridors. In a small, dimly lit chamber, a healer tends to a patient. Their hands move slowly, deliberately, guided not just by knowledge, but by centuries of tradition, whispers of spirits, and the quiet hope that this night, like every night, might bring relief. Before the rise of science, before the certainty of medicine as we know it today, humans relied on observation, ritual, and intuition. They tried everything they could imagine to cure pain, to soothe illness, to chase away the invisible forces that caused suffering. Some remedies were drawn from the earth roots, leaves, stones, and minerals. Some came from animals' fats, bones, even living creatures. And some were as strange as the human imagination itself, a testament to the courage, desperation, and ingenuity of those who came before us. Tonight, we journey quietly into their world, a world where hope was sometimes strange, and healing was a delicate balance of nature, ritual, and belief. Let us listen closely and step softly into the halls of ancient healers, where every flicker of firelight tells a story, and every story reveals the strange and wondrous lengths humans went to survive. In the quiet of the ancient world, illness was a shadow no one could escape. Fevers, pains, and mysterious ailments struck without warning, and explanations were scarce. There were no laboratories, no microscopes, no modern understanding of germs or the delicate machinery of the human body. So, humans turned to what they knew, the world around them. Stones, herbs, animal parts, and even rituals became tools for healing. Every treatment was a blend of observation, tradition, and imagination. What worked was celebrated, what failed was often repeated, for sometimes hope mattered more than certainty. Strangeness became normal. A remedy could be as simple as applying honey to a wound, or as bizarre as using powdered mummies as medicine. Spells might accompany surgery, and chanting could stand beside herbal poultices. Pain, fear, and wonder guided the hands of those who sought to heal. Yet, in these strange treatments lies the story of human resilience. Every odd concoction, every peculiar ritual, every daring surgery was born from one shared desire to fight suffering, to protect life, and to preserve hope, even in the darkness. Tonight, we will wander through these worlds of imagination and desperation. We will meet the healers, the patients, and the remarkable remedies that seem bizarre to us now, but once carried the weight of life and death in their fragile hands. In the quiet corners of ancient cities and villages, the healers worked. They were not merely doctors in the way we understand today, but keepers of knowledge, guardians of secrets passed down through generations. Some were priests speaking to gods and spirits for guidance. Some were herbalists turning leaves, roots, and flowers into poultices and potions. Others were bone setters, surgeons, and midwives, their hands steady, guided by experience and intuition. Each healer carried a world within them. In Egypt, priests recorded remedies on papyrus, blending medicine with ritual. In Mesopotamia, healers combined spells with herbs, believing that sickness often came from unseen spirits. In China, practitioners observed the flow of energy through the body, aligning needles and herbs to restore balance. These figures commanded respect and sometimes fear. Their knowledge could save life, or, if misapplied, hasten death. Yet, they were driven not by fame, but by necessity, compassion, and the quiet hope that the suffering they witnessed could be eased. Every tool on their shelves, every whispered incantation, every carefully measured potion was part of a delicate dance between observation and imagination. Their world may seem strange to us now, but to the people who lived under their care, it was the only path to survival, the only way to make sense of the inexplicable suffering that touched every home. Tonight, we will step into the halls and homes of these healers, listening closely to the stories embedded in their tools, their herbs, and their rituals. And in doing so, we will begin to understand why the strange was often the only way forward in a world without certainty. In the dim light of an ancient apothecary, jars lined the shelves, each containing powders of every hue: white, gray, green, and black. Among them were stones, carefully ground into fine dust, believed to hold the power to heal. In ancient China, jade dust was treasured not only for beauty, but for its supposed medicinal properties. It was thought to strengthen the heart, improve longevity, and ward off disease. In Egypt, powdered minerals like malachite and hematite were prescribed for ailments ranging from digestive troubles to fevers. Even pearls, carefully crushed into shimmering powder, were considered potent remedies for the weak and the sick. These powders were often mixed with water, wine, or honey, creating bitter, gritty drinks. Some were swallowed with hope, others applied as pastes to the skin. To modern eyes, these remedies may seem unusual, even uncomfortable, but to the people of the time, they represented the very edge of what was known about life, health, and the hidden powers of the earth. In a world without chemistry or laboratories, the earth itself became a pharmacy. Every stone, mineral, and crystal was a potential key to survival. And so, night after night, patients drank these powders with quiet faith, trusting that somewhere in the dust lay the power to restore life and health. Beneath the open skies of ancient lands, people turned to the simplest elements of the earth for healing. Clay and dirt, substances we now consider plain and unremarkable, were once thought to hold extraordinary powers. In parts of Africa, India, and the Americas, geophagy, the practice of eating earth, was common. Certain clays were believed to absorb poisons from the body, soothe stomach ailments, and even provide essential minerals that were otherwise scarce in the diet. Pregnant women often consumed specific types of clay to protect themselves and their unborn children, guided by generations of observation and tradition. Sometimes the earth was flavored or mixed with honey, herbs, or water to make it more palatable. Other times, it was eaten raw with quiet faith in its unseen powers. To modern minds, it may seem strange, even unsettling, but in a time when disease was mysterious and remedies were few, the soil beneath one's feet became a source of hope. There is a subtle poetry in this practice. The very ground that sustained life, that bore crops and trees, also became a medicine for those who had no other recourse. In the silence of ancient nights, people would chew, swallow, and wait, believing that relief could come not just from their healers, but from the earth itself. In a small, candlelit chamber, a healer uncorks a jar of thick, golden honey. Its sweet aroma fills the air, promising comfort as much as treatment. Ancient civilizations quickly discovered that this sticky nectar was more than a treat, it was medicine. Egyptians dripped honey onto wounds, believing it could draw out infection and protect against disease. Its natural stickiness created a protective layer, while its chemical properties slowed the growth of harmful bacteria. Across the world, from Greece to India, honey became a cornerstone of remedies for burns, ulcers, and sore throats. But honey's magic was not purely scientific. It was also symbolic, a gift from the bees, a product of nature's labor, infused with the sun's warmth. Patients took solace not only in its healing qualities, but in the quiet ritual of its application. The gentle coating of wounds, the slow stirring into warm water or wine, the subtle sweetness that lingered as hope in the air. In an age before laboratories, before microscopes and antibiotics, honey was a bridge between the natural world and human survival. It was simple, it was strange, and yet it worked. Night after night, across villages and temples, honey offered its quiet miracle, a reminder that sometimes the most unassuming substances could carry the greatest power to heal. In the dim glow of an ancient kitchen, a healer examines a loaf of bread, not for its taste, but for the fuzzy, blue-gray patches growing on its surface. To modern eyes, it might seem spoiled, even inedible, but in the ancient world, such bread was a potential medicine. In Egypt, Greece, and parts of China, moldy bread was applied to infected wounds. The healers may not have known about bacteria or fungi, but through careful observation, they discovered that certain molds could slow infection and help the skin heal. The practice was crude, certainly, and sometimes dangerous, but in an era before antibiotics, it offered a glimmer of hope against serious illness. The bread, softened with water or honey, became a poultice, pressed gently onto cuts and sores. Patients endured the odd texture and pungent smell with faith, trusting that nature, in its mysterious ways, could restore their health. There is a quiet wonder in this strange remedy. Humans, observing the smallest patterns in their world, learned to harness what nature offered even when it appeared unusual or unpleasant. In the flickering candlelight, with the scent of herbs and smoke all around, moldy bread was more than fungus, it was a lifeline, a testament to humanity's endless search for healing. In the quiet of an ancient apothecary, jars of rendered fats line the shelves. Bones, carefully crushed, rest beside them. Marrow, thick and rich, is collected from freshly butchered animals. To modern eyes, it may seem odd or even unpleasant, but in the ancient world, these were essential tools of healing. Healers across cultures discovered that animal fats could soothe the skin, protect wounds, and ease joint pain. Ointments made from pigs, goats, or cows were applied with care, often mixed with herbs to enhance their effects. Bone powders were believed to strengthen the body, aid in recovery, and sometimes even ward off spiritual ailments. Marrow, considered the essence of life within bones, was consumed as a tonic. Its richness was thought to restore strength to the weak, bolster the sick, and bring warmth to those shivering with fever. Patients drank broths, chewed roasted marrow, or applied pastes to aching limbs, guided by the quiet wisdom of their healers. There is a delicate poetry in these practices, life-giving life. The animals that sustained human communities were not merely food, but also medicine. And in the soft glow of night, amid flickering firelight and the scent of herbs, humans found comfort in these remedies, trusting that nature itself provided the tools for survival and healing. In a quiet corner of an ancient market, a small vial of thick, oily liquid catches the firelight. It is snake oil, a substance both feared and revered. Across civilizations, from China to the Middle East, reptiles were believed to carry unique powers, and their oils and fats were thought to heal ailments that no herb or mineral could touch. Healers extracted oil from snakes, lizards, and other creatures, applying it to stiff joints, sore muscles, and wounds. Some believed it could cure ailments of the skin, ease pain, and even protect against curses. The slippery substance, with its earthy scent and unusual texture, became a symbol of both hope and mystery. Patients approached these treatments with quiet faith. They rubbed the oil into aching limbs, trusting the wisdom of the healer and the ancient knowledge carried in every drop. To modern eyes, it may seem strange or even superstitious. But in a time before clinical trials and microscopes, every odd remedy was a bridge between suffering and relief. There is a peculiar beauty in this practice. Humans, learning from observation, from the world around them, and daring to use the unexpected. In the stillness of night, with only firelight and soft whispers to guide them, snake oils offered solace, on unusual, yet comforting promise that nature itself held the power to heal. In the quiet halls of an ancient healer, small, dark creatures slither in glass jars, waiting for their unusual task. Leeches, tiny, seemingly simple, yet powerful, were among the most famous tools of medicine for centuries. Across Egypt, Greece, and medieval Europe, bloodletting was a common practice. Healers believed that illnesses arose from imbalances in the body's humors, and that carefully removing blood could restore harmony. Leeches, with their delicate suction, were placed on the skin, drawing out just enough to heal. The process was slow and precise, demanding patience from both healer and patient. Though the sight of these creatures may make us uneasy today, their use had a quiet, almost poetic logic. The healer watched the leech's every movement, understanding the subtle signals of the body, responding with care and experience. For the patient, it was a moment of stillness, a ritual of hope, as tiny creatures worked silently to rebalance the forces within. In the still night, with candles flickering and the faint rustle of herbs in the air, the leeches became partners in a delicate dance of healing. Strange though it may seem to modern minds, for centuries they offered relief, a testament to the ingenuity of humans striving to tame illness with the tools nature provided. In the quiet of a healer's chamber, tiny white creatures crawled gently over a patient's wound. Maggots, small, unassuming, and often misunderstood, were once used deliberately to aid in healing. To modern eyes, it might seem unsettling, yet in the ancient world, this practice had surprising wisdom behind it. Healers discovered that maggots consumed only the dead tissue, leaving healthy flesh untouched. By carefully placing them on infected wounds, they cleaned away decay that no other remedy could remove. The process was slow and meticulous, requiring patience and careful observation, but the results could be life-saving. Across cultures, from Europe to the Americas, maggot therapy was a quiet, natural method to fight infection. It was a delicate collaboration between humans and creatures, a testament to the ingenuity and observation of healers who relied on what the world provided. There was also a ritualistic element, placing the maggots, covering the wound, and waiting through the long hours of the night, gave patients a sense of participation in their own healing. In the flickering light of candles and fire, amidst the quiet scent of herbs. Life and death seem to hinge on the tiniest of creatures, reminding us that even the most humble beings can play extraordinary roles in the human story of survival. In the quiet corners of ancient villages, healers turned to the smallest creatures for remedies. Spiders, their delicate webs, and even crushed insects became part of a healer's toolkit, testament to human ingenuity and the belief that nature, in all its forms, could restore life. Cobwebs were carefully collected, their silky strands applied to wounds to staunch bleeding. Some cultures believed that the web's delicate structure helped draw out impurities and speed healing. Spiders themselves were sometimes ground into powders or oils, used to treat ailments ranging from skin conditions to toothaches. Even beetles and other insects found their way into potions, ointments, and salves. To modern eyes, these practices may seem strange or even unsettling. Yet, in a world without antibiotics or sterile bandages, the small creatures of the earth offered practical solutions. Patients endured the unusual textures and odors with faith, trusting that these tiny gifts of nature held the power to mend flesh and soothe pain. In the soft glow of candlelight, with the gentle scent of burning herbs in the air, humans learned to look closely at the world around them. Every creature, no matter how small, was a potential healer. And in that quiet, immersive observation, life found a way to endure, reminding us that even the tiniest beings can carry the weight of survival in a strange and wondrous world. In the stillness of an ancient kitchen, the healer prepares a strange yet purposeful meal. Birds, zolls, doves, chickens are transformed into remedies, each believed to carry a special power to heal the body and calm the spirit. In some cultures, owl meat was carefully cooked to treat ailments of the lungs or to ward off spiritual afflictions. Doves, with their gentle nature, were thought to soothe fevers and restore balance. Chicken broth, rich and warm, became a universal comfort, nourishing the weak and easing the pains of illness. These remedies were more than just food, they were rituals of care, combining sustenance, belief, and medicine. The process was slow, deliberate, and deeply respectful. Every bird was treated as a vessel of life, its energy believed to transfer to the patient. Consumed, applied, or brewed into broths and poultices, these remedies brought comfort, hope, and sometimes surprising relief. To modern eyes, these practices may seem peculiar, but in a time before modern medicine, birds offered more than nutrition, they carried the promise of healing. In the flickering candlelight, with the soft scent of herbs and smoke around, patients accepted these treatments with quiet trust, letting the natural world guide them toward recovery. In the quiet chambers of ancient healers, unusual remedies filled the shelves. Among them were substances that today might seem shocking. Animal dung. Across cultures, from Egypt to India, and even in parts of Europe, dried or powdered dung was used as a medicine, believed to hold potent healing properties. Cow dung was applied to wounds to prevent infection, while crocodile dung in Egypt was sometimes mixed with other ingredients to treat digestive ailments. In ancient China, mouse paste was used to soothe toothaches. To us, these practices may feel strange, even unsettling, yet they emerged from careful observation and centuries of trial and error. Healers watched closely, noting when a treatment worked and when it did not, always seeking balance between risk and relief. There was a quiet ritual in the preparation. The dung was dried, powdered, or combined with herbs and honey, transforming it from something ordinary or even repulsive into a tool for survival. Patients accepted these treatments with patience and trust, believing that within these unlikely materials lay the power to heal. In the soft flicker of firelight, with the scent of herbs and incense filling the air, humans of the past demonstrated a remarkable courage, the willingness to use every resource the natural world offered, no matter how strange, to fight illness and preserve life. In the bustling streets of ancient cities, healers prepared remedies that may seem unusual to us today. Among the most curious were those made from mice-tiny creatures believed to hold powerful medicinal properties. In Roman times, powdered mouse was sometimes mixed into potions for toothaches or fevers. Certain texts describe using roasted mice, ground into powders, or combined with wine, to treat ailments of the digestive system. In Hebrew traditions, too, mice found their way into remedies, often as part of complex mixtures believed to restore balance and health. To modern minds, it may seem peculiar, even unsettling. Yet for people living without modern pharmaceuticals, every observation of nature was precious. Healers had learned that the smallest creatures could carry subtle energies, and that their essence might strengthen or protect the human body. The preparation was careful and deliberate. Mice were roasted, ground, and combined with herbs or liquids, transforming the ordinary into the extraordinary. Patients approached these remedies with patience and quiet hope, trusting in the ancient wisdom that had been passed down through generations. In the flickering candlelight, these tiny creatures became silent partners in the long human pursuit of healing, a reminder that even the smallest lives could leave an imprint on human survival. In the flickering light of an ancient healer's chamber, a patient lies still, while the healer prepares a small, glowing instrument. Cauterization, the art of applying heat to wounds, was a practice that might seem harsh today. Yet, in the ancient world, it was a tool of life and survival. Using heated metal, fire, or even embers, healers would burn a wound to stop bleeding, seal injuries, and prevent infection. The sight of smoke curling from the skin and the faint, acrid scent of charred flesh may have alarmed the uninitiated. But to those who understood the practice, it was a precise and necessary procedure. Cauterization required skill, patience, and respect for the body. The healer observed the color of the skin, the flow of blood, and the reactions of the patient, knowing that too much heat could harm and too little would be ineffective. It was a delicate balance between destruction and restoration, pain and relief. In the quiet of the night, with only the soft glow of firelight to illuminate the room, cauterization became a ritual, a way for humans to confront illness and injury with courage and ingenuity. Though it seems extreme to us now, it was a testament to the determination of ancient peoples to preserve life in a world without modern medicine, where every flicker of heat could mean the difference between survival and death. In a quiet, candlelit chamber, a healer prepares for one of the most daring procedures of the ancient world, trepanation. With simple handheld tools, they carefully drilled or scraped a hole into a patient's skull. To modern eyes, it seems extraordinary, frightening even, but for thousands of years, this practice was a bridge between the physical and spiritual realms of medicine. Ancient peoples believed that illness, headache, or even madness could be caused by evil spirits trapped inside the body. By creating an opening in the skull, they sought to release these malevolent forces, allowing the body and mind to heal. Archaeological evidence shows that many patients survived this procedure, their skulls bearing the smooth edges of healing bone, a testament to the skill and patience of these early surgeons. Trepanation was not only a medical procedure, but also a deeply symbolic act. The healer approached it with reverence, often performing rituals, chants, or prayers, intertwining physical care with spiritual guidance. Patients, too, participated with trust, enduring pain in the hope of relief. In the dim glow of firelight, with the faint scent of herbs in the air, trepanation reminds us of humanity's courage and ingenuity. In a world without modern science, the boundaries between body, mind, and spirit blurred, and the search for healing demanded both bravery and imagination. In the quiet chambers of an ancient healer, bowls of darkened liquid waited patiently. Bloodletting, the practice of removing blood to restore balance, was once one of the most common treatments across civilizations. From Egypt to Greece, Rome to medieval Europe, it was believed that illness arose from imbalances within the body's vital humors, and that carefully drawing blood could bring harmony and health. Healers used knives, lancets, and leeches, choosing specific veins, observing the color and flow of blood with meticulous care. The process required both precision and intuition. Too much, and the patient might weaken; too little, and the illness would persist. Patients lay quietly, trusting in the skill of the healer and the wisdom of centuries. Though modern medicine has long discarded the practice, in its time bloodletting was a tool of hope. It was not simply a physical act, but a ritual, a moment of pause, reflection, and trust. It offered patients a sense of participation in their own recovery, a tangible action against the invisible forces of disease. In the soft flicker of candlelight, amidst the scent of herbs and smoke, bloodletting became more than treatment. It was a symbol of humanity's relentless pursuit of health. Even in a world without scientific certainty, people sought balance, and in that search, they demonstrated courage, patience, and faith in the delicate art of healing. In the quiet corners of ancient villages and bustling cities, the discomfort of a toothache could bring even the strongest person to their knees. Dentistry, in its earliest forms, was a strange and sometimes painful art, yet it was a lifeline for those suffering from decay, infection, or injury. Healers and early dentists, often the same people who treated wounds or illnesses, used simple tools, bronze or iron drills, sharpened stones, and even primitive forceps. Honey and herbs were applied to numb pain or protect the exposed area. In some cultures, teeth were believed to harbor tiny toothworms, invisible creatures that caused agony. Remedies, from grinding herbs into powders to performing small extractions, were designed to combat these unseen pests. Patients endured the process with patience and trust, relying on the careful hands of their healer. Though the methods were crude by modern standards, they reflected a deep understanding of observation and problem-solving. The healer watched the color of the gums, the progression of decay, and the reactions of the patient, adjusting their approach with every subtle clue. In the flickering firelight, the scent of herbs and resin filling the air, dentistry in the ancient world was both science and ritual. It was a delicate dance of knowledge, courage, and perseverance, testament to humanity's enduring desire to ease suffering, even when the tools were few and the methods strange. In the quiet darkness of an ancient healing chamber, a patient prepares for a ritual that may seem unusual today: branding or scarification. Across many cultures, the deliberate marking of the body was not just an act of pain, it was a pathway to healing, protection, and spiritual balance. Healers and ritual specialists believed that the body carried not only physical ailments but also spiritual disturbances. By creating precise burns or scars, they sought to release illness, appease spirits, or strengthen the individual's life force. Tools were simple yet purposeful: heated metal rods, sharpened stones, or knives, applied with care and intention. The act was both medical and symbolic. The smoke rising from the skin, the sharp scent of heated metal, and the delicate patterns of the marks all carried meaning. Patients endured the ritual with patience and trust, believing that their suffering could be eased through this blend of pain, precision, and faith. In the soft flicker of torchlight, with the quiet murmur of chants or prayers, branding and scorification remind us that healing in the ancient world was never just physical. It was a dialogue between body, mind, and spirit, to delicate balance where the strange became a bridge to survival, and every mark told a story of courage, belief, and hope. In the quiet halls of ancient temples and humble homes alike, the sound of soft voices filled the air. Incantations, chants, and healing songs were more than music, they were medicine, a bridge between the seen and unseen, the physical and spiritual. Healers believed that many illnesses were caused by invisible forces, spirits, curses, or disruptions in the harmony of the body. Words, carefully chosen and sung in rhythm, were thought to soothe these disturbances. The gentle vibrations carried through the room, blending with the scent of burning herbs and the flickering candlelight. In Mesopotamia, Egypt, and Greece, patients would lie quietly as priests or shamans recited sacred verses, drawing energy from the heavens and invoking divine aid. The healing songs could last hours, soft lullabies against pain, fear, and uncertainty. Even without understanding the mechanisms of disease, the power of focused intention, comfort, and ritual brought solace to the sick. There is a subtle poetry in these practices: sound as remedy, rhythm as relief. In the quiet of the night, with only firelight and the hush of attentive listeners, these ancient songs remind us that healing is often as much about the mind and spirit as it is about the body. In the world of early medicine, a whispered chant could carry as much hope as any potion. In the soft glow of candlelight, patients carefully wore necklaces, bracelets, and charms, each one believed to carry the power to heal or protect. In ancient times, amulets and spirit jewelry were more than adornments. They were tools of medicine, carrying spiritual energy that could ward off illness and misfortune. Across cultures, stones, metals, and carved symbols were carefully chosen for their supposed properties. In Egypt, the ankh might protect the wearer from disease. In Mesopotamia, engraved seals were carried to guard against curses. Even in distant villages, simple pendants or beads could serve as talismans, holding the hope and intention of the healer who made them. These objects were often blessed, sung over, or infused with herbal oils. Patients wore them close to the body, carrying comfort and reassurance. To modern eyes, they may seem purely symbolic, but in a time before germ theory or pharmaceuticals, the belief in unseen forces was a crucial part of healing. There is a quiet wonder in these practices, the melding of art, faith, and medicine. In the still of night, with flickering shadows dancing on the walls, amulets and charms reminded the sick that healing was not only physical, it was a delicate balance of mind, spirit, and hope wrapped in the smallest, most meaningful objects. In the hushed darkness of ancient temples and homes, the cries of the afflicted mingled with whispered prayers. Exorcism, what we often think of as a purely spiritual act, was also considered a form of medicine. Many healers believed that sickness, madness, and unexplained pain were caused by spirits, demons, or malevolent forces lodged within the body. Priests, shamans, and healers performed rituals to expel these entities. They chanted, burned herbs, sprinkled holy water or oils, and sometimes used instruments to cleanse the patient. Patients participated with trust, enduring the ceremony as both treatment and protection. In their minds, the expulsion of the unseen intruder could restore not just health, but peace of mind. Across cultures, from Babylonian exorcisms to Christian rituals in medieval Europe to shamanic practices in Asia and the Americas, these ceremonies were carefully structured, blending psychology, observation, and faith. The healer's skill lay in reading the body, interpreting symptoms, and performing rituals that brought both physical and emotional relief. In the quiet glow of candlelight, amidst the scent of incense and herbs, exorcism reminds us that ancient medicine was never solely about the body. Healing often encompassed mind and spirit, intertwining belief with practice. In that delicate balance, the strange and the sacred became inseparable, and humans reached for every possible path to health. In the silent night, as stars shimmered across the sky, ancient healers looked upward for guidance. Long before microscopes and modern medicine, the heavens themselves were considered a map of health and disease. Astrology, the study of the stars and planets, was intertwined with medicine, shaping the timing and nature of treatments. Healers observed the moon, the sun, and the movement of planets, believing that their positions influenced the body and its humors. Certain days were considered favorable for bloodletting, surgery, or administering potions. Others were thought to worsen illness if interventions were attempted. The alignment of the stars could dictate whether a treatment would bring relief or fail entirely. In Mesopotamia, Egypt, Greece, and even in medieval Europe, astrology guided healers in predicting outbreaks, choosing remedies, and offering prognoses. Patients trusted these readings, finding comfort in the sense that their ailments were connected to the greater rhythm of the universe. There is a quiet poetry in this practice, the belief that humans and the cosmos are intertwined, that the same forces that govern the heavens touch the body below. In the soft glow of firelight, with herbs smoldering nearby, astrology became more than superstition. It was a framework of hope, a way for people to understand and confront the mysteries of illness. In the still of night, as patients slept, their dreams became more than fleeting images. They were considered messages from the body, mind, and spirit. Ancient healers believed that dreams could reveal the source of illness, guide treatment, and even predict recovery. In Egypt, Greece, and parts of the Middle East, healers carefully recorded patients' dreams. A dream of water might signal an imbalance in the body's fluids. A vision of fire could indicate fever or inflammation. Shamans and priests interpreted strange visions, connecting symbols and narratives to physical symptoms. Sometimes, the dream itself became a prescription or ritual, an herb or a potion designed to restore balance. Patients shared their dreams with quiet trust, speaking of animals, stars, and unseen forces that visited them in sleep. The healer listened with patience, reading the subtle patterns and meanings hidden within the subconscious. In this way, Dreams became a bridge between the known and the mysterious, between observation and intuition. There is a gentle wonder in this practice, the understanding that health is not only physical, but intertwined with the mind and spirit. In the dim glow of candlelight, as the night deepened and herbs released their fragrant smoke, dream interpretation offered hope. It reminded the sick that even in sleep, the body could speak, and the mind could guide the hand of the healer. In the quiet chambers of ancient healers, the golden sap of the poppy was treasured for its remarkable power. Opium, extracted from the poppy plant, became one of the earliest and most potent remedies for pain, sleeplessness, and even spiritual journeys. From Mesopotamia to Egypt, Greece, and India, healers carefully prepared opium into powders, pastes, and drinks. Patients consumed it to ease pain, calm fevers, or sleep through the discomfort of illness. Its effects were immediate and profound, offering relief when few other remedies could yet. Too much could dull the mind or even bring danger. Beyond its physical benefits, opium held a spiritual dimension. In some cultures, it was believed to connect the user with divine forces, to soothe not only the body, but also the soul. Healers combined its use with ritual, prayer, or chanting, creating a holistic experience that intertwined medicine, belief, and comfort. In the gentle glow of candlelight, with the soft scent of herbs lingering in the air, opium reminds us that humans have always sought relief from suffering. Even in a world without modern pharmaceuticals, nature offered its own solutions, sometimes strange, sometimes sacred, but always rooted in the quiet desire to heal and preserve life. In the dim glow of ancient kitchens and apothecaries, liquids of every shade were carefully prepared fermented grains, pressed grapes, and distilled spiritsol, considered potent remedies. Alcohol was more than a drink. It was medicine, a tool to soothe pain, disinfect wounds, and ease fevers. In Egypt, wine was sometimes used to clean wounds or as a carrier for herbal remedies. In Mesopotamia, beer served as both nutrition and therapy, often mixed with honey or spices to calm digestive ailments. Distilled spirits, emerging in later periods, were carefully dosed to reduce pain or induce sleep. The process of consumption was slow and deliberate. Patients sipped, applied compresses soaked in alcohol, or gargled mixtures to relieve infections and discomfort. Alcohol acted both physically and psychologically. It numbed pain, relaxed tension, and offered comfort through its warmth. There is a subtle beauty in this practice, the transformation of ordinary liquids into healing agents, the careful observation of effect and dosage, and the intimate ritual between healer and patient. In the soft candlelight, with herbs smoldering nearby, alcohol became a bridge between nature, medicine, and human ingenuity, strange, yet reliable ally in the ancient quest to preserve life and ease suffering. In the quiet chamber of an ancient healer, a patient lies still, guided by a delicate balance of trust and ritual. Trepanning, the practice of drilling or scraping holes in the skull, was a daring procedure, but when combined with alcohol, it became slightly more bearable. Alcohol was used as a rudimentary anesthetic, numbing pain and calming fear, allowing the healer to perform this life-saving surgery with greater care. Healers observed the effects carefully, adjusting the amount to ensure the patient remained conscious but sedated enough to endure the procedure. The alcohol dulled both the physical pain and the mental anxiety, creating a fragile bridge between suffering and survival. This combination of trepanning and alcohol illustrates the ingenuity of ancient medicine. Though tools were simple and knowledge limited, humans experimented with the resources available, blending observation, trial, and intuition to confront the harsh realities of illness and injury. In the soft flicker of candlelight, with the subtle aroma of herbs and heated metal in the air, this practice reminds us of the courage of both healer and patient. In a world without modern anesthetics, even a sip of fermented drink became a lifeline, a testament to humanity's endless creativity and determination in the pursuit of healing. In the quiet corners of ancient homes and temples, the delicate work of eye care was performed with careful hands. Eyes, fragile and vital, were treated with an array of strange yet ingenious remedies: kohl, herbs, and sometimes even surgery. Kohl, a dark, powdered substance made from soot or minerals, was applied not only as cosmetic decoration, but also for medicinal purposes. It protected the eyes from sun and dust, and in some cultures was believed to ward off infections and evil spirits. Herbal poultices, made from plants such as fennel, marigold, or myrrh, were used to soothe irritation, reduce inflammation, and improve vision. In extreme cases, healers performed rudimentary surgeries to remove cataracts or foreign objects. The tools were simple, the procedures risky, but careful observation and years of practice allowed some patients to regain partial or full sight. The application of these remedies was a quiet ritual. Patients sat patiently, trusting in the skill and knowledge of their healer, while the scent of herbs mingled with the warm glow of firelight. In a world without modern ophthalmology, these treatments reflect the blend of practicality, imagination, and faith that characterized ancient medicine. Even in its strangeness, eye care offered hope, a reminder that humans have always sought to protect their most precious senses, guided by observation, ingenuity, and a delicate touch. In the warm glow of an ancient healer's chamber, small cups of glass, bamboo, or clay are carefully placed upon the skin. Cupping, a practice both strange and fascinating, was used across Egypt, China, Greece, and the Middle East to treat a variety of ailments, from pain and inflammation to respiratory issues. The healer created a vacuum inside each cup, either by heating the air or using suction, drawing the skin upward. The gentle pulling was believed to stimulate the flow of blood, release toxins, and balance the body's energies. Sometimes, herbs or oils were added to the cups, enhancing both the physical and symbolic effects. Patients felt a mild tug, a warmth, and perhaps temporary redness or circular marks afterward. To modern eyes, it may look unusual, but in the ancient world, cupping was considered a precise, soothing, and powerful therapy. It combined careful observation with an understanding of the body's subtle signals. In the quiet night, with the soft scent of incense and herbs drifting through the room, cupping became a ritual of care. The healer's hands guided each cup with intention, and the patient's trust completed the delicate partnership. Even in a world without modern medicine, these simple vessels transformed into tools of hope, a reminder that healing has always been a blend of ingenuity, courage, and gentle observation. In the shadowed corners of ancient workshops and healers' chambers, thick, dark substances, tar, pitch, and other sticky resins were carefully prepared for medicine. Though they seem unappealing to modern eyes, these materials were valued for their protective and healing properties. Applied to wounds, burns, or skin infections, tar created a barrier against dirt and disease. Its antiseptic qualities helped prevent infections, while its sticky texture held herbs and other remedies in place. In some cultures, pitch was combined with oils or honey to form poultices, sealing injuries and promoting healing. These substances were not only practical but symbolic. They represented strength, preservation, and the power to protect the fragile human body from harm. Patients endured the unusual texture and pungent aroma with trust, believing that nature's sticky offerings could defend and restore them. In the soft glow of a fire, with the scent of resin mingling with herbs, tar and pitch remind us that ancient medicine relied on keen observation, experimentation, and a willingness to embrace the strange. Even substances we might avoid today once carried hope, comfort, and the promise of survival in a world where every resource counted. In the quiet of ancient kitchens and healers' chambers, some remedies may seem startling to modern eyes. Among the most unusual were early forms of fecal therapy, a practice aimed at restoring balance within the body as digestive system. Across cultures, in China and Egypt, healers observed that the waste of healthy animals or humans could sometimes help those suffering from severe gastrointestinal ailments. Carefully prepared, often mixed with liquids or herbs, these substances were administered with caution, believed to transfer vitality, rebalance the body, and cleanse internal toxins. To modern minds, this seems shocking. Yet these practices arose from careful observation. Healers noticed patterns, recorded outcomes, and refined their methods over generations. Patients approached these treatments with patience and trust, understanding that even the strangest remedies could hold the key to survival. In the flickering firelight, amidst the scent of herbs and resins, ancient fecal remedies illustrate the courage and ingenuity of early medicine. In a world without antibiotics or knowledge of microbes, humans turned to every available resource, no matter how unusual, to preserve life and combat illness. In the flickering glow of ancient fires, the blood of animals was carefully collected, revered not just as sustenance, but as a potential medicine. Across cultures, from Mesopotamia to Europe and Asia, healers believed that animal blood could restore vitality, treat fevers, and even ward off disease. Fresh blood was sometimes consumed, mixed with herbs or wine, while in other cases it was applied to wounds to staunch bleeding or promote healing. The choice of animal often carried symbolic weight. The blood of strong or sacred creatures was thought to impart their strength or divine favor to the patient. These practices reflected a blend of observation, intuition, and faith. Patients trusted that the life force within the blood could be transferred, bringing relief or protection. Though it may seem strange today, in the absence of modern medicine, every resource in nature, from earth to sky, plant to animal, was examined for its potential to heal. In the quiet of night, with smoke curling from herbs and the soft warmth of firelight, the use of animal blood reminds us that ancient medicine was both practical and symbolic. It was an attempt to harness life itself in the delicate, timeless pursuit of survival and well-being. In the quiet heat of ancient baths and healers' chambers, steam rose in gentle waves, carrying the scent of herbs and warm stones. Sweat, saunas, and fomentation, the practice of applying heat through compresses or hot water, were used across civilizations to treat fevers, aches, and spiritual ailments. In Roman baths, Greek healing temples, and Native American sweat lodges, heat was believed to draw out toxins, balance the body's humors, and restore vitality. Patients sat or lay quietly, wrapped in warm blankets, herbs tucked near their faces, feeling their bodies release tension and impurities. Fomentations, herbal poultices, applied hot to the skin relieved muscle pain, inflammation, and stiffness, combining warmth with the healing properties of plants. The experience was both physical and meditative. The rising steam, the gentle touch of warm compresses, and the quiet attention of the healer created an atmosphere of calm and trust. In a world without pharmaceuticals, these simple methods offered comfort, relief, and a sense of ritual that soothed both body and mind. In the soft glow of firelight or the open sky of a sweat lodge, heat became a healer's ally. Sweat, warmth, and herbal infusions remind us that even the simplest forces, temperature and moisture, were powerful tools in the ancient quest to maintain health and restore balance. In the quiet of an ancient healer's chamber, a small vial holds a dangerous substance, snake venom. Though deadly in the wrong hands, venom and other poisons were sometimes used carefully as medicine. Across cultures, from India to Egypt, healers observed that these toxins, in tiny doses, could relieve pain, reduce inflammation, or stimulate the body's defenses. Healers prepared minute amounts, mixing them with herbs, oils, or wine, trusting in their knowledge of dosage and timing. The process required precision, skill, and caution. Too much could harm, but the right amount might heal. Snake venom was sometimes applied topically, ingested in tiny doses, or used in ritualistic treatments to balance humors or expel disease. Patients entered these treatments with quiet courage, guided by faith and the careful hands of the healer. In their world, danger and medicine often walked side by side, and the line between poison and remedy was as delicate as a whispered prayer. In the soft glow of candlelight, with the faint scent of herbs and incense lingering, snake venom reminds us that ancient medicine relied on keen observation, daring experimentation, and respect for the natural world. Even the deadliest substances could be transformed into instruments of healing, bridging fear and hope in the timeless pursuit of life. In the gentle light of an ancient healer's room, small leeches swim in shallow water, ready to perform their subtle work. Beyond simple bloodletting, some cultures experimented with leech baths, immersing the body or limbs in water filled with these tiny creatures to draw out excess blood or toxins. Blood therapies were considered powerful tools for restoring balance. By observing the patient's body and behavior, healers determined how many leeches to use, where to place them, and when to stop. The patient lay quietly, trusting the process. As the leeches drew slowly, their tiny bodies performing what humans could not, precise, gentle extraction of blood to heal, calm, and restore. These therapies were more than physical, they carried symbolic weight. Blood was life itself, and its careful manipulation was a demonstration of trust, skill, and knowledge. The healer's hands guided each step, balancing courage with care, science with intuition. In the soft flicker of candlelight, with the faint aroma of herbs and smoke, leech baths remind us that ancient medicine embraced both observation and experimentation. Even the smallest creatures could become instruments of healing, and humans learned to work with nature in extraordinary, sometimes strange ways, all in the pursuit of life and health. In the soft glow of ancient kitchens and healers' chambers, jars of golden honey gleam like captured sunlight. Sweet and viscous, honey was more than a treat, it was a powerful medicine. cherished across civilizations from Egypt to Greece, China to India. Applied to wounds, honey created a protective barrier, preventing infection while drawing moisture and promoting healing. Its natural antibacterial properties were prized long before anyone understood microbes. Mixed with herbs, wine, or oils, honey became a versatile remedy for coughs, digestive ailments, and fevers. The preparation was careful and deliberate. Patients received honey in ointments, drinks, or poultices, trusting in the natural power contained within this simple gift from bees. The healer watched patiently, noting the wound's response, the patient's strength, and the subtle signs of improvement. In the quiet night, with the sweet scent of honey mingling with herbal aromas, this golden medicine reminds us of the ingenuity of ancient healing. Nature provided not only sustenance, but also protection, comfort, and hope in the hands of careful observers. Even something as simple as honey could bridge the gap between suffering and recovery, preserving life in the most unexpected, gentle ways. In the quiet corners of ancient homes and healers' chambers, leaves, roots, and flowers were transformed into powerful remedies. Herbal poultices, soft, moist preparations applied directly to the skin were a cornerstone of medicine, used to treat wounds, reduce swelling, and soothe pain. Healers carefully selected plants for their properties: lavender for calming, willow bark for pain relief, and marigold for cleansing wounds. The herbs were mashed, mixed with water, honey, or oils, and gently applied, forming a protective, healing layer over the affected area. Patients sat or lay still, trusting in the skill and observation of the healer. This practice was both practical and meditative. The tactile preparation, the subtle aroma of crushed leaves, and the quiet attention of the healer created an atmosphere of calm. Even in the absence of modern sterilization, these poultices offered protection, comfort, and relief. In the soft glow of candlelight, with steam rising from warm poultices, herbal remedies remind us that ancient medicine relied on close observation, creativity, and a deep connection to nature. Every plant held a secret. Every application was a bridge between suffering and relief, and every patient received care woven from both knowledge and gentle intention. In the quiet of ancient healing spaces, humble earth clay, mud, and natural soils was transformed into medicine. Across cultures, from Egypt to India, healers applied these substances to wounds, skin ailments, and fevers, trusting in the soothing and protective qualities of the earth itself. Clay poultices cooled inflammation, drew out impurities, and created a protective barrier over cuts and burns. Mud baths were used to ease joint pain, skin irritations, and even spiritual afflictions, absorbing toxins, both real and symbolic. Healers sometimes mixed earth with herbs, oils, or water, crafting a remedy that was as tactile as it was medicinal. Patients experienced the cool, soothing touch of earth, the weight of healing pressed gently against their skin. The practice was slow, deliberate, and comforting, quiet ritual where observation, touch, and patience guided recovery. In the flickering candlelight, with the faint scent of herbs in the air, clay and mud remind us that even the simplest materials can hold profound healing power. Ancient medicine was a dialogue with nature, and through these humble substances, humans discovered relief, protection, and the enduring connection between body, mind, and the world around them. In the quiet chambers of ancient healers, Even the most ordinary substances of the body were transformed into medicine. Milk, urine, and other bodily fluids were used across cultures, believed to carry properties that could heal, protect, or restore balance. Milk, fresh and warm, was consumed to strengthen the weak, soothe the sick, and aid digestion. Urine, surprisingly, was sometimes applied to wounds or mixed with herbs, thought to cleanse infections or act as a protective agent. The practice may seem strange today, but in a world without antibiotics or chemical treatments, every available resource was observed, tested, and refined for its potential benefits. Healers carefully measured, mixed, and administered these substances. Patients approached the treatments with trust, understanding that even the most unconventional remedies might hold the key to relief. Observation and patience guided every decision, bridging experience with hope. In the flickering candlelight, with the subtle aroma of herbs nearby, milk and other bodily fluids remind us that ancient medicine often relied on ingenuity, courage, and experimentation. Even the most unexpected elements of life could become instruments of healing, carrying humans safely through the trials of illness and injury. In the quiet rhythm of ancient daily life, abstaining from food was sometimes as important as consuming it. Fasting and food restriction were employed by healers across civilizations from Greece to India, Egypt to China's, a way to restore balance, cleanse the body, and strengthen the spirit. Healers observed that periods without food could relieve digestive ailments, reduce fevers, or help the body recover from excesses. In religious or ritual contexts, fasting was also believed to purify the soul, allowing spiritual and physical health to align. Patients endured hunger with patience, guided by the trust in their healer and the wisdom passed down through generations. Fasting was deliberate, structured, and often combined with herbs, water, or light teas. The quiet discipline of abstaining from nourishment became a method of observation, reflection, and healing, showing that sometimes restraint, rather than addition, was medicine. In the gentle glow of candlelight, with only the quiet sounds of the night around, fasting reminds us that ancient healing was as much about understanding limits as it was about remedies. By listening to the body, observing its responses, and practicing patience, humans found subtle, enduring ways to survive, recover, and thrive often without the tools of modern medicine. In the quiet, tense atmosphere of ancient healers' chambers, surgery was both daring and essential. When a limb was badly injured, gangrened, or crushed, amputation became a life-saving procedure, performed with simple tools and careful observation. Healers relied on sharp knives, saws, and cauterization to remove the affected limb. Alcohol, herbs, or other rudimentary anesthetics were applied to reduce pain, while fires or heated metals cauterized wounds to prevent infection. Patients endured the procedure with courage, trusting in the skill and experience of their healer. Amputation was more than a medical necessity, was a delicate balance of risk and survival. The healer had to act decisively, observing the patient's strength, the severity of the injury, and the response to treatment. Every motion carried consequences, and yet, with careful hands and determination, life could be preserved. In the soft glow of firelight, with the scent of herbs and smoke around, primitive surgery reminds us of the courage of both healer and patient. Even without modern knowledge, humans confronted the limits of the body with ingenuity, skill, and an enduring will to survive testament to the remarkable resilience of life in the ancient world. In the quiet chambers of ancient healers, tiny creatures, maggots, were welcomed as unlikely allies. Though to modern eyes they may seem repulsive, these larvae were used across cultures to clean wounds and promote healing. Healers observed that maggots fed on dead tissue without harming living flesh, helping to prevent infection and accelerate recovery. They carefully placed them on wounds, covering them with gauze or cloth, and monitored their progress. Patients endured the sight with trust, guided by faith in the healer's knowledge and the remarkable observation of nature's design. This practice combined courage, patience, and keen insight. Maggot therapy was not just a biological treatment. It was a lesson in humility, acknowledging that even the smallest creatures could hold the key to human survival. In the soft flicker of candlelight, with the faint scent of herbs and smoke, maggot therapy reminds us that ancient medicine often turned the strange into the essential. Life, even in its most unexpected forms, became a tool for healing, bridging fear and hope in the timeless pursuit of health. In the quiet chambers of ancient healers, the intestines and stomachs of animals were carefully prepared as remedies. Across cultures, these organs were believed to carry healing properties, capable of treating digestive ailments, infections, and even spiritual imbalances. Healers often filled the animal guts with herbs, liquids, or powders, then boiled, roasted, or ground them to create potent concoctions. Patients consumed these remedies or applied them to the body, trusting that the life force contained within these organs could restore balance and vitality. Though such treatments may seem unusual today, they arose from careful observation. Healers noted which remedies helped and which did not, passing their knowledge down through generations. The practice reflected a deep connection to nature and a willingness to explore every available resource in the pursuit of health. In the soft glow of firelight, with the smell of herbs and cooked remedies filling the air, animal guts remind us that ancient medicine often required courage, creativity, and faith. Even the most unexpected parts of life were transformed into instruments of healing, bridging the gap between fear and hope in the timeless journey to survive and thrive. In the quiet glow of ancient healers' chambers, small stones called bezoars were treasured as powerful medicines, found in the stomachs of animals. These unusual formations were believed to have the power to neutralize poisons, cure illnesses, and even protect against curses. Healers carefully cleaned, ground, or dissolved these stones, often combining them with herbs, wine, or other remedies. Patients consumed or applied them with hope and trust, believing that the mystical properties contained within these stones could restore balance and safeguard life. Bezoars were more than medicine. They were symbols of human ingenuity and the desire to harness nature's secrets. In Europe, Asia, and the Middle East, they became prized possessions, bridging observation, superstition, and the practice of healing. In the flickering candlelight, with the faint scent of herbs and incense, these magical stones remind us that ancient medicine was as much about faith and imagination as it was about observation. Humans sought healing in every corner of the natural world, finding hope and power in the most extraordinary and unexpected places. In the gentle glow of firelight, smooth stones were carefully heated and placed on the body, their warmth seeping deep into muscles and joints. Across ancient cultures, from Egypt to the Americas, stones were used as a form of therapy, relieving pain, improving circulation and restoring balance to the body. Healers combined heat with herbs, oils, or water, creating compresses and massage treatments that soothed aching limbs and calmed the spirit. Patients lay quietly, feeling the radiating warmth, the subtle pressure, and the attentive hands of the healer, while the scent of smoke and herbs filled the room. Thermal therapy was more than physical light, was ritual, observation, and intuition. Healers watched the body's response, adjusting placement and temperature to achieve relief without harm. In a world without modern analgesics, these simple methods offered comfort, calm, and a tangible sense of care. In the quiet of night, with the soft crackle of fire and the warmth of stones against the skin, thermal therapy reminds us that ancient medicine often blended simplicity and ingenuity. Even the most basic forces, heat and touch, could become instruments of healing, bridging pain and relief with gentle intention and careful observation. In the quiet, serene chambers of ancient China, thin needles glimmer in the soft candlelight. Acupuncture, an art of inserting needles at precise points, was used to restore the body's flow of energy, known as qi, and bring balance to health and spirit. Healers believed that illness arose when this vital energy became blocked or unbalanced. With careful hands and calm focus, they inserted needles into specific points along the body's meridians. Patients often felt a subtle pressure or tingling, a sensation that signaled the body's energy beginning to harmonize. This practice combined observation, intuition, and centuries of accumulated wisdom. Healers listened to the patient's pulse, examined the tongue, and noted subtle changes in skin and demeanor, adjusting treatment with precision. Acupuncture was both science and meditation, physical therapy and spiritual care intertwined. In the soft glow of lanterns and the faint scent of burning herbs, acupuncture reminds us that healing in the ancient world often bridged body and spirit through slender needles. Humans sought not just to cure illness, but to restore harmony, demonstrating the delicate, profound understanding that even tiny interventions could bring great relief. In the gentle hush of ancient halls, the soft notes of flutes, drums, and lyres floated through the air. Music, in many cultures, was more than entertainment, it was medicine. Healers believed that sound and vibration could influence the body, calm the mind, and restore harmony to those suffering from illness or emotional distress. The rhythm of drums or the melodic strains of stringed instruments were carefully chosen to align with the patient's condition. In some traditions, specific songs were thought to expel disease spirits, balance the humors, or encourage the flow of vital energy. Patients lay quietly, feeling the resonance of sound move through their bodies, soothing pain and easing tension. This practice blended observation with intuition. Healers noted the reactions of patients, adjusting tempo, volume, and melody to maximize relief. Music became a bridge between physical and spiritual care, a gentle tool to guide both the body and mind toward wellness. In the flickering light of torches or lanterns, with the faint scent of herbs lingering, music reminds us that ancient medicine was not only about herbs, tools, or rituals. It was about connection. Vibrations, rhythm, and harmony became instruments of healing, demonstrating that the power of sound could touch the body as profoundly as any potion or touch. In the quiet of ancient temples, bathhouses, and riverbanks, water flowed not only as a necessity of life, but as a source of healing. Across civilizations from Rome to Japan, Egypt to Greece water was harnessed for its therapeutic powers, soothing the body, cleansing wounds, and restoring balance. Healers observed that immersion in warm or cold water could relieve pain, reduce fever, and promote relaxation. Sacred springs were believed to carry divine properties, and bathing in them offered both physical relief and spiritual purification. Patients soaked, swirled, or gently floated, feeling the gentle pressure and buoyancy of water ease their ailments. Water therapy combined practicality with ritual. Healers guided temperature, timing, and herbal additives, carefully noting the body's responses. In quiet rivers or serene baths, patients experienced not only cleanliness, but also comfort and calm, a subtle, profound restoration of body and spirit. In the soft sunlight or flickering torchlight, water reminded humans that the simplest elements, liquid, temperature, movement, could become potent instruments of care. Healing, in the ancient world, flowed as naturally as the streams themselves, carrying hope and balance to all who trusted its gentle touch. As the night deepens and the soft glow of firelight flickers, we look back on the long journey through the strange, fascinating world of ancient medicine. From herbs and poultices to maggots, venom, and mystical stones, humans have always sought to understand the body, mind, and spirit, tend to find ways to preserve life against the uncertainty of illness. What may seem bizarre to us today was once a bridge between observation, experimentation, and belief. Every remedy, no matter how unusual, carried hope. Every ritual, every chant, every carefully applied poultice was a testament to the courage of patients and the ingenuity of healers who relied on nature, intuition, and careful observation to combat suffering. In these quiet practices, we see a timeless truth. The desire to heal is universal, and human creativity knows no bounds. Even in the absence of modern science, ancient people pushed the limits of knowledge, blending the practical with the spiritual, the strange with the wise. As we close this exploration, the lessons linger. The past teaches patience, respect for nature, and the deep, enduring connection between body, mind, and spirit. In the flicker of candlelight, the smell of herbs, and the quiet night, we are reminded that healing is not only a science, but also an art, a delicate dance of hope, courage, and the endless search for life and wellness.